Thank you very much. Hello. I would like to tell you about multi-apartment buildings, about safety of the apartment buildings, companies, and everything which is involved into building protection system, and what I'm going to be speaking about. Well, here's a small description, what I've achieved. I've been working in 3 launch pods for the spaceships, 2 nuclear plants, Lomonosov University, IoT, energy resources, digital management, and things like that. So what are we going to be speaking about today? Smart apartments doesn't mean smart building. The second activity is building management system. What is it? Number 3, class BMS architecture solution, the threats to BMS, and means of providing security, and we are going to look at it from different sides. So what is smart apartment? It's a smart house. I have a smart house installed, voice activated systems and things like that, but from the terminology point of view, it's a smart apartment. I shouldn't pay too much attention. A big number of solutions installed in apartments, sensors, smart vacuum cleaners, voice assistants, and things like that. However, very often it has the reverse side, and many people don't understand that. We speak about security, but it has certain vulnerabilities and threats. Of course, we speak about unprotected backdoors, physical access to infrastructure, and things like that. So behind all these digital interesting things, there are threats, vulnerabilities, which often, when a person being in a cloud of advertisement noise doesn't know it and doesn't see. So the objective of providing security is on the shoulders of the user, an apartment inhabitant. So what is a building management system? And how can we work with it? First of all, we have a certain set of standards. It's a state-oriented set of standards called Smart House, automated system of managing smart houses. If it's an apartment, we're speaking about managing multi-apartment building as a total system. IP connection systems, IP surveillance cameras, different small elevators and things like that. And this is something that 5-10 years ago was in movies, and we thought how the elevator can recognize me and take me to the floor where I live. Previously it was something out of the area of fantasy, and right now it's something realistic. Few words about basic architecture. The core is a certain building management system, BMS, access control management, elevators, etc. And there's a certain interface, and web interface, mobile interface, thick client. We're speaking about some management slot for these systems, and it's a diverse management. This equipment can be by different manufacturers, territorially distributed, and of course from different vendors.
Варианты использования интерфейсов. Всем известно, это мобильные интерфейсы, удобные, понятные.
Yeah, we know mobile interfaces are well understandable when you don't have to take pictures of the readers. This data is coming aggregated and automated and collected from the electricity accounting devices, and it comes to your mobile application. And when you get a call from a visitor, let me in, and my house surveillance camera does not recognize me, you can open it from your kitchen, you can open the door. Video surveillance, a school, other applications. So we are speaking about the ability of using different scenarios for the housing. This equipment, it's not your equipment. It belongs to the house management. And you can control it, you can interact with it, and you can work with it. But we're speaking about security, and from the point of view of architecture, let's look at different levels. low-level hardware, tourniquets, readers, systems which are aggregated on the level of BMS. At the same time, there can be closed contours and open contours which are aggregated for the single platform. And I would like to repeat myself that I'm the head of the development program. Together with MTS, we've been involved in this, and a number of companies do that in Russia, internationally. So we're saying BMS, it's a system which aggregates the system in the facility, helps us to control it, multi-scenarios. What will happen if we are approaching to the house and there's a surveillance camera which recognizes the car number? Your car number is in a database for entrance into the building parking lot. So it will be recognized, and another equipment will recognize it, and another system will recognize it and open it. So we are saying that this is united on the level of the platform, and therefore, on the level 5, we are speaking about third-party systems, external systems towards the functioning. For example, I can make an example. When you approach the building, a house, the developer says, well, okay, dear company, from level 1 to level 4, please provide us with this. And number 5, it should be mobile application. For example, we have built 10 houses, and 11th house should be shown in their mobile application. So we're speaking about some integrations in cooperation between the platform and external systems. From the point of view of the cooperation with GR, for example, this is accounting of the resources, safety, data exchange, on the level of Ministry of Utilities, necessity of providing the security and safety, and of course informational system of the top level. When the equipment is going to the upper platform, and manufacturer, vendor of this platform aggregates data on their platform. Such multiplicity of systems does have certain vulnerabilities and threats, and we should not underestimate them. We have bigger number of systems, and we have bigger number of vulnerabilities and threats. And we've been speaking a lot about segmenting networks, about safety, security of build-ups, improper architectures of the system. So basic things are represented here. Non-protected network, backdoors in firmware, physical access to IT infrastructure of the facility when you are inside of the house. And what is lack of protection? Basic scenario, when with the help of having certain skills, you can manage elevator which is installed, because they have default settings and you can control it. These are real cases when we've been auditing networks and we had to update it in order to connect additional equipment to them. The absence of monitoring systems for the equipment when we discover certain defects, and for example, decommissioning of certain equipment, decommissioning for the decommissioning the elevator, for example. If the criminal gets access to the elevator, and in Moscow we did see several situations when it was intentionally, somewhere unintentional failure of the elevators, decommissioning of the fire system, theft of the personal data, and we are speaking about multiple increase of potential vulnerabilities of those threats on the basis of this digitalization. So, smart apartment, minimal consequence, UMCD, more global consequences compared with the apartment smart city. You can discuss and determine what is a smart city. It's a big term, terminologically. Safe city, smart city, from the point of view of the understandable, well, this story is being developed right now, and it's being transformed from the point of view of who's going to be controlling this direction of activities from the point of view of state standards. So, how can this be provided, and how can we work with all of this? First of all, we take basic examples: information security, cyber-physical systems. Information security, that's understood. Confidentiality, accessibility of the information. The object is the information CSB story. Well, most of you do have perception cyber-physical systems. I will repeat myself, starting from forming separate regulatory framework for these operations. We're not speaking about information security. It's not only about information. In order to break the elevator, we are not speaking about leaking the information. We're speaking about physical access to facility, to object, and following certain scenarios. What is to be done in order to make it work? Creating automated management system at early stages, implementation safety systems which have to be followed, guarantee of operability of the system, control at the early stages of the construction installation works. When you come to the facility and you see that there's a certain defects which at later stages it's going to be very difficult and expensive to remove them, discover them, and neutralize them. Regular safety audit, load testing, and checking fault tolerance for the system. Okay, we can define these threats. Failure of service and criminal vulnerabilities. And there are more than 100,000 of different clients that we have in this direction in the MTS. And as I've made an example that many cases are very unique, while neutralization of these cases takes some specific knowledge, risks of, mitigating risks of threats. We do these load tests at the early stages. Network is a closed contour. We're not saying that, well, every house, every building or the company is some kind of a branch of MTS. So we, historically, this was a telecommunication direction, so we built it as a safe network in order for making it operational within those scenarios that we want to implement. Thank you very much. I'm ready to answer your questions. As I understand, for this session, there are no questions, so let's move on. There's a Telegram, you can write into Telegram. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nikolai.